Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to this brief tutorial on Solar Putty. Today we're going to take a look at the application. We're going to walk through the download and installation process, and then we'll do a high-level overview of the app itself. Before we jump in, do me a quick favor, hit the thumbs up button, drop a comment, promise I'll reply, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We're really trying to grow it, so your help is much appreciated. Let's jump right in. Alright guys, so I will leave you the link in the description for the download page for Solar Putty. Basically have to fill this form out. It's an absolutely free application. I'm not going to show you all my info. After you do so, you'll be brought to the download page. Click download. It'll be a zip file, so you're going to go ahead and extract that file. Whether you have 7-zip or the built-in zip application, either one works fine. Extract the files, and basically it's just an executable. You double click it and it runs. So there's really not an installation, so it's very straightforward. So that was the download and installation process. We're actually going to bring this over to... Alright guys, now that we have it installed, we're going to actually interact with the GNS3 environment, just because I already have some routers set up in here and I don't have to break out any physical gear. So we'll be working from a virtual machine, which is integrated in GNS3, and a couple of virtual routers here within GNS3. If you need any information on GNS3, whether it be how to implement or integrate a VMware workstation or virtual machine, that is, into the topology, or just how to get started with it in general, I've got a pretty good series, a crash course on how to spin it up, all that good stuff. But that's not really the topic today. I just wanted to kind of preface everything to let you know that I will be using Solar Putty today in GNS3 and VMware. So here's our virtual machine where we have Solar Putty installed. So you see we've got some different tabs here on the left hand side. First thing we can do, you don't have to do it in this order, but we're going to set up credentials first. I've already actually set them up, but let me cancel that and start over, and I will delete this one. So you're going to go create new set of credentials, and you can call this whatever you want. I'm just going to call mine GNS3 creds. Put in your credentials. It's a lab, so they're not too crazy. And we don't have any sessions, so we can't assign it yet, but we'll go ahead and save that. And now you can create your sessions. So if we go to sessions, create new, I'm going to call this GNS3-R1 for router 1. I think that was 10.1.1.1 in the topology. It's an older version of SSH for this particular iOS. And we're going to choose our GNS3 creds that we created. Go ahead and turn on logging if you want to keep a record of your Putty sessions. I recommend doing this. And we can save that. So now we can create a new one. And we'll call this GNS3 router 2. 10.30.10.1. Now we're going to use the GNS3 creds. And we're going to enable logging. We'll go ahead and save that. Another thing you guys can do is go back in between these. Okay, what's that, guys? Alright, sorry about that, guys. I think where we were at was going to show you can come back in here after you've created sessions or credentials for that matter, and you can modify things afterwards. So let's say we have a bunch of different sessions, and we have the credentials tied to them, GNS3 creds, and what happens, we have to change the password. Now, instead of coming in here at every one of these and updating the password, you can just go to credentials and make your modifications here and save it. It'll automatically apply everywhere that is applied. You can also make changes to each session. So if we look at this, we can come in here, and one cool thing you can do, let's say you run a couple different companies or you support a couple different companies. You can make each one its own color. So maybe this is company 1, this is company 2. If you had a bunch of devices, it would make more sense, but either way, we'll demonstrate it here. Maybe the first one, you're going to make it like a teal. And then the next one, maybe you're going to make it like an orange. So it's just easy to see between the different companies in this particular example, or you could, segregate out your switches versus your firewalls versus your routers, things like that. So kind of a cool tip, I thought. All right, so now if we go back to overview, we will see these laid out. So if you had, a whole bunch of them, you'd see them all right here. So you can launch it from here or you can launch it from the session. So literally you just go here and you double click it and that will launch a session. First time connecting, and you see I didn't have to log in there because we already had the credentials saved. I will need to enable, but that's about it. So now we can go back to overview and we can launch 2. Oh, we must not have that one configured yet. 1 second, guys. Ah, my bad. It looks like we had the wrong SSH version selected here. This is an older router we're running. So we're going to go with V1 and save it. And we will try again. You get launched from here too, guys. If you just double click there, it works. Enable. And we're right in. So there you go. This is your settings tab. You click here and you can open an overview tab. And again, you can launch from here. Another cool thing you can do, guys, is you can duplicate. So if you want to have 2 instances of this, right click and duplicate. And maybe you want to do some side-by-side comparison of configs or something. You can pull this out. I'm sorry, you can right click and you can say detach. And that'll pull that away from the screen. So now we have this console here open. And you can do that with 2 different ones, right? And have them side by side. If you want to put it back, you just drag it back into the parent and it sticks right up there. So one more thing I'll show you guys is if we go to settings, general, you'll see here that there's a log folder location. You can change this if you want, but we can open this up. And here's all our logs. So I've done a few sessions in Solar Putty already. And as long as you have logging enabled, this is going to dump all the output of your console session to a file for you to reference later on. Pretty cool. I haven't set up any scripts, but you can configure scripts. So maybe you want to run a script in a session. So I think that's in here that you can run some custom scripts after you log into a session. So right here, use post authenticate script. So maybe you need to run something like a backup or a TFTP dump every time you log in. You could do that easily with a script. I won't get into that today. And the last thing here is tags. So maybe you want to, again, tag things by company, tag things by brand, tag things, you know, maybe all your routers have a specific tag versus your switches, your firewalls. It just makes it a little easier to search and apply things to depending on the tags. So this was a super high level overview of Solar Putty. If you guys are using Putty a lot for SSH or console connections, I would say try out Solar Putty. Again, it's 100% free, very useful tool. Whether you're using it to connect to, you know, servers or switches, more than likely it's gonna be network gear, but you can also SSH into different appliances and servers, things like that, depending on what your job role entails. So yeah, check it out. What do you got to lose? It's free. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, drop me a comment. I will reply. And until the next one, I hope you guys have a great day and take care.